And it was an entertaining game. Could have been more entertaining. Maybe slightly flattering to Titans, if not more than maybe. But what the stats say, and then we'll look, and then you can keep going, Barn. And
yeah, no worries. I thought it was a bit more than maybe, but
we'll save Ollie. We'll save Ollie for a minute. He's just got a stew for a little bit.
Titans 20, Parramatta 26, 4 tries to 5. 2 out of 4 conversions played, 3 out of 5 for Parramatta. 81% completion played, 80%. 35 out of 43 sets played, 32 out of 40. 200 plus post contact metres for Parramatta. 4 line breaks from both teams. 17 tackle busts to the Titans, 22 to Parramatta. A stat that I don't use often, but kick return metres, 89 kick return metres for the Titans and 323 from Parramatta. That just tells you how good the kicking game was from Parramatta. Pin them down in their corners, make them work it out. 10 offloads to 9, 1 forced dropout to 2, 0 40-20s, 330 tackles played, 333, 3 ruck infringements by the Titans, 1 by Parramatta, 2 inside the 10s to Parramatta, 1 penalty conceded to 10, 9 errors to 9, 1 sin bin for Parramatta. Clark with 40 tackles, Papali'i with 39, Marzu with 148 running metres, 241 metres for Regan Campbell-Gillard. Fermor missed 5 tackles, made 35. Sexton missed 3 and made 14. Nathan Brown missed 3 and made 39, and that was the worst you got out of Parramatta. They dominated the first 45 minutes of this match, and after about 10 or 15 minutes, it looked like the game was gone and it was going to be an absolute walkover to Parramatta, I thought. Simonson's face slide was a notable moment of the game where he slid on his face for about 10 metres. That was impressive. Did he end up getting a HIA for that?
He did, yes. He did. And probably a nice face burn.
Yeah. Some bad luck and some really poor reads in defence on the edges for the Titans. It looked like a hiding was coming. But they did lift up their energy and intensity in the second half and put a bit of pressure on Parramatta, and Parramatta got a bit scrappy there when the pressure was put on them.
I'll tell you the moment that I don't know what to say about this game. I'll tell you the moment when when Titans lifted their intensities when Parramatta's front row went off, and the moment their intensity ended was when Junior Paulo came back on. It was actually pretty to the minute. It was pretty easy to see actually.
It was. The Titans put on a bit of pressure. There was some poor discipline from Parramatta, and that call from Paulo, it ended up being contact in the head, but 3 years ago it was a good tackle, so what do you say about it? It did slip up off the shoulder. Don't know if it deserved 10 minutes. It's definitely a penalty.
Just to interject, my argument with it probably is that it's a shoulder charge. I think shoulder charges should be in the game. So I'm quite happy for shoulder charges to be in the game as long as they don't contact the head.
Yep.
Blokes tackle with their shoulder. They're supposed to use their shoulder to tackle. But the fact is, under the rules of our game, the way they stand now, it's a shoulder charge, I reckon.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Looking back at
regardless of where it hit him, that was a shoulder charge and it was a penalty straight away.
Yeah.
And then contact probably gives him the 10 minutes.
Yeah, no, that's probably a fair call, to be honest. The thing I did notice after the 10 minutes was the whistle went in the pocket. I think there was maybe one more penalty for the rest of the game after that. The ref absolutely just backed off and just let the game play.
I actually want to just give a mention to AJ, who was trying to plead the case that it hit my shoulder. He was there actually going, no, it was my shoulder.
Yeah, my shoulder's fucked.
Well, then, he played the rest of the game hanging down here.
He didn't want to go for HIA, that's why.
Yeah, well, that's true as well.
And didn't go for one.
It didn't.
Well, that's the thing, he didn't go for HIA.
If Junior Paulo forcefully hit you in the head with his shoulder,
you'd be dead.
that would be a HIA.
Absolutely,
in my
it's
opinion.
a HIA.
Yeah.
His shoulder's probably
be arguing
big.
because they'll be carrying you off.
So it's another issue again.
Yeah.
Simonson gets sent off for sliding on his face, and
He's sent off for 10 minutes.
Sorry, while we're on the round,
15 minutes.
While we're on
for
a round,
getting hit in the head.
The professional foul for a penalty now,
absolutely,
it's a disgrace.
Hate it.
And there's a simple answer.
It's clever.
No, the simple answer is
you
go to the bin and then we'll check it.
We'll challenge now, but you're off.
100%.
So you're playing with 12, but you might get this challenge right.
They'll quick smart be stopping. But it happened. It happened this
twice.
Game twice.
It happened last week.
And
with the
it
Broncos.
It was Cook last week, but it was this game twice. They should have absolutely just gone, you go, and then we'll check it. Because I'll tell you, that's the way to fix it.
It's probably the Titans' problem.
Yeah.
That they're worried too much about
Mickey
fucking
Mouse
captain's challenge than actually running hard and tackling hard.
Once the whistle went away, it just became a grind to the finish line, and Parramatta were just fitter and faster at the back end of the game. and managed to close it out. Fafita with 107 Supercoach points, Gutho with 97, Moses with 90. The Titans forwards numbers were down a long way on what they've been putting out recently. I thought Jolliffe was probably the best of the forwards. Mo was okay. Brimson was very inconsequential until the last half an hour of the game when he decided that he's going to start kicking the ball and trying to set up some plays for his outside men. And
after he'd broken his shoulder.
Then looked like close to the best player on the field. Fafita was okay for his 10-minute patch that he puts in each week. Moses, Gutho and RCG were absolutely everywhere, and they were great in this game.
RCG might actually be the most underrated player in the game.
And they were involved in anything good that came out of Parramatta. It was RCG, Moses and Gutho. And Matto and Papali'i on the edges were fantastic as well.
Yeah, I concur. Gutho'd around and looked as Gutho as he always Guthos. He was very good.
Sound analysis, my friend.
But that was...
Is that you might as well being yourself.
All right, hang on.
Gutho.
But,
yes.
Their props were the difference in this game to start
100%.
with. AJ Britt, at some point, the circuit breaker needs to come and they either need to move AJ Brimson back to fullback and get their shit together, or Titans are going to finish bottom 4. The concern with Parramatta I have is that they still concede 20 points every week. Yeah. And you're not going to beat the top 4 conceding 20 points every week. There's edge concerns in defence. Ironically, Niokoro actually strengthened up a bit this week, but they have to score 26, 28 points every week to win, which they do, but there is that concern. And do you want to wrap anyone for the Titans? Not really.
The 1 week they didn't concede 20, though, they played Melbourne and won.
Well, maybe that's true. Maybe that's their version of A grade
of circumstance that do they cruise, and a couple of tries were scored that are a bit soft.
100%. Actually, no, you're right, because conceding 20 is the same as not trying to score 40.
I think Parramatta are a really good defensive team, actually. And Barney went through the stats. Brown missed 5 tackles, and there was no one else of note. But you know what?
Only 3.
And sorry to interject,
No.
Dag, but Parramatta
talk about Gutho
are one of these teams that run hard and tackle hard. They run hard and they tackle hard, and everything's a contest with them.
Sean Lane's going to struggle to find his way back into this team.
Well, I was going to mention Ryan Madison. I thought Ryan Madison was really, really good. He was back at the level that he was touted as an Origin player 2 years ago, probably it was, when he was really pushed forward and was probably a member of the squad and an 18th man at some point in time. He was really, really good. And they may have to, at a time, Madison might come on and play in the middle so they don't lose as much when Paulo and RCG go off, and Madison might be their answer in the middle and leave Lane and Papali'i on the edge, or even bring Papali'i into the middle.
And probably a middle guy.
So they're not losing as much impact as Daggy said. That's the only time where Parramatta look a bit vulnerable, when they go off the field. And not that the other blokes are bad that come on. They're not bad players, but they're not RCG and Paulo. So you sort of lose a bit in terms of that. I don't know what with the Titans. I've mentioned it every week. They go through halves and they don't score a point. I don't know how he fixes it. I don't know what the problem is. They've got problems with their spine. The halfback is a good young player. Jermaine Asako, I don't know why they wasted their time. He's got too many errors in him. Jaden Campbell, when he comes back, hopefully adds a little bit, but I don't know whether he's going to be the answer yet. The hooker is just a player, he goes okay.
Solid.
He's solid. Brimson, well, is he a 5'8"? Is he a fullback? So I think that there's spine problems for the Titans. I had him in the 8 to start the year on, and I'm willing to pen him. Now, I think that, we'll get into looking at this week's games, and I think they're pushing shit uphill to win this week. And
I had him running 10th, and I don't see him finishing much higher than 10th.
So the steam's coming out. He's about to start boiling.
I've gone on long enough. I'll let him speak.
Look, he's about to start whistling. There's that much steam coming out.
Got any room beside you in that bottom 4, Daggy? Because we might be neighbours. Because honestly, how much does one team have to suck for a whole season so far, 5 games in a row,
You're asking
to
the right
go at
bloke.
least one half every game without scoring a try. How does that happen?
We're in 4 halves.
Not even. Not
4
even.
games.
Hey, I'm a Bulldogs fan. We've gone weeks without
Well,
scoring.
hey,
We
guess
assembled
what?
a good crew.
You know what I could say? You know the biggest positive about the Titans right now for me, at least, is thank God the Tigers and Bulldogs exist. Otherwise,
And the
Dragons, yeah.
Throw the Knights in there.
I'd be
at
a
the
bit
moment
worried
as well.
versus the
Cowboys.
Dragons at the moment. Yeah. But I tell you what,
There's a few of you.
That's why they finished 10th.
well, first of
Barney, you're
all,
right.
I know that Campbell's been out injured and whatever, but when he was at the Broncos, I said Jermaine Asako, when he was consistently playing fullback at the Broncos, I was saying Asako's
He's
the
a
worst
winger.
fullback in the competition.
He's a winger at best.
His positioning is absolutely atrocious. Under the high ball, he's not great. I absolutely hate that he's my team's fullback currently.
You know who he is? He's a 10k lighter Waka Blake.
Well, he's a
Every time
decent
the ball
winger.
gets to him,
He runs fast and runs
Yeah.
straight.
Yeah,
and that's about it.
And he tries to do
Stops.
too
Yeah.
much.
Yeah.
He's not like Ewan Aiken. Ewan
Yeah.
Aiken knows his lane. Jermaine Asako needs to know
Come on,
his
30
lane.
kilos
Yeah.
and plays at back row.
Bellamy would be licking his lips to have you on Aiken next year because you go, right, you got these 2 jobs. Oh, you know what you're doing? All right, get out there and do
good.
it. You and Josh King, off you go. Right?
Yep.
I'll get onto the big pile of crap now because
Hey.
Oh, when you tell me you don't play the music.
I'll tell you what, for Fafita,
Should we add him?
funnily enough, it was probably his best game of the year because he put in that 10-minute stint. And that's the thing with Fafita, right? He put in that one big run to score. Whoop-de-doo, right? There were times early last year where he'd put that run in 4 or 5 times a game. I'm not even saying consistently. 4 or 5 times throughout an 80-minute game.
Every 20 minutes. Yeah.
If he had done that in that game against the Eels, especially in the second half, I'm confident the Titans win because he scores at least another try. But I know you said that they're not getting him enough ball, which is true. I think it's also to do with his effort. But my slap this week is Justin Holbrook because after round 2, how is he not going right? We're going to work out a way to get this guy involved in the game more because it doesn't even look like they've tried. Like, as if you wouldn't be going, this bloke's not only costing us so much money, we know what he can do with the ball in hand when you're creating the opportunity. So why aren't they focusing more on creating these opportunities? And I'm sorry, if they have been doing this at training, something's gone horribly, horribly wrong because it's just not...
Look at all the Titans' attack. Their right to left looks half decent. Their left to right looks like shit. And then you got Fafita sitting on the right-hand side getting ugly ball passed to him, kicked to him. And most of the time he's starting from a standstill and then trying to do his best from there. Put him on the left, put Firma back on the other side, and then have him on the back of that sweeping play where there's bodies in motion and... the ball's moving quickly.
I think it's been suggested on
Probably
this
be
show
different.
that
Yeah.
he plays for a game in the middle.
Yeah,
Put
teach
in
him
the
to
middle
do
for
some
a
work.
fucking game.
Absolutely.
And
We'll swap him with
Make
Tino and see who'd put out more
make
effort.
him go to the ball. If it can, the ball obviously can't get to him. They're not good enough to get the ball. They've had 5 weeks.
Yeah.
And they can't do it. So he's got to say to him now that, well, it's ironic that he scored the try running from dummy half. So no one passed. So he got the ball himself for that try. The same as a lot of those tries he scored last year, Ollie, were from taps. So no one passed him the ball then either.
Yeah.
So it's maybe that the coach just has to sit down and say, you are playing in the middle. You're going to the ball. You're going to fucking get the ball there.
That's the thing. Like, if you swap Tino onto that right edge and put Fafita in the middle, I guarantee you Tino would still have a higher work rate than what Fafita's got.
Probably
Because he
would.
came in looking for the
Scan the
play, I
comp.
think.
What Pape asked to go to the middle, for example, Luciano goes looking. In a shit team, goes looking and manages to touch the ball as many
Most
times
of the
as he
decent
can.
back rowers are running
Angus
that 45
Crichton,
angle
when
back
Roosters
into
are in
the middle
trouble,
of the field.
not so much this year, but traditionally will go looking. That's obviously not the list is a mile long, but put it.
How often
If
do you
you're
see
Holbrook, say
Fafita
you're
looking
starting
back
prop
through the
and
middle?
then see what you've got in the game.
Just to add on Holbrook, because he's my slap as well, it just seems like every few weeks since he started coaching the Titans, like stuff will be going all right, and then he will make a decision that is clearly wrong, make it for no reason, and it never works out. It's like last year, right, when half the season Tino was playing at prop. Why in God's name was Tino playing at prop when he had proven time before, as a Titans player, he's better off at second row or lock than at
Look how good
prop.
he was at Melbourne
Like,
in the second row.
Yeah, and I think he started the season at prop at the Titans for whatever reason.
He did because Mo was on the bench for 15 rounds.
Mo coming off the bench, like... No,
Yes.
it baffles me. Like, why are these decisions... It seems to be on a monthly basis, at least one abhorrently wrong decision is made that going into it, everyone's like, I don't know why he's made that decision. It'll probably go wrong, and then it does go wrong.
How much would be boardroom? Is it a boardroom
I
club?
don't think so. It looks like he's got control of that.
Yeah.
So.
But, I can see what's going to happen. Say around 20, with a scapegoat, is Jaden Campbell. We better move AJ back to fullback. We better try something different. And he'll be the one move they do. And
and you know what? And
they'll play, they'll move Smith into 5'8", which maybe they should have from the start.
Yeah.
And...
oh, God, no.
But that's what that's what they'll do.
And you know what? It's funny. At the end of last year,
that's what they'll do. And they'll go, and they move Tino back to front row, and there'll be Dave having a bit of a smoke out in the wing.
And that's the thing too. It's Jaden Campbell was the one whose eggs they were putting in the basket at the end of last year by saying that they were going to move AJ to 5'8", which then meant they had to push Fogarty out of the club because then they were going to play Sexton. It's almost. Of course, he got injured at Canberra, but it's almost as if Fogarty was a valuable player that you shouldn't just let go for two players who have played, 7 first-grade games between them. Especially if, I'm not even confident that that all the eggs in which Sexton's been all right, the Sexton and Jaden Campbell basket is going to last all that long. If it doesn't, that would be probably two of the first players.
Jaden will be first to go.
Yeah,
because he's going to come back and get belted.
And at the end of last year, he was the one for the future.
He shouldn't be getting rid of Sexton. Sexton's still.
I think Sexton's still been good. Sexton's still
fine.
And it's the same as the St George theory, isn't it? That they've got to play Sexton if he's there. If that's who they think's going to lead their team for the next however many years as their halfback.
Unless you're managed by Braith, then you play reserve grade for 4 years.
He hasn't played that bad. He's had a couple of kicks out on the full and whatever and brain explosions, which
Clifford
happens,
has.
And that's the thing too. I'd at least like to hope. Of course, this is speculation. I don't think it will happen. But because they put all the eggs in the Sexton and Campbell basket, at least give them a year, no matter what, because you've gotten rid of one of your best players to accommodate them both.
Anyway,
hopefully that is.
You got any final thoughts, Dougie?
No, I think I covered them all, and you covered them all pretty well. It's quite a rant for a team that lost by 6, wasn't it? Imagine getting the next game.
Well, this was, as I said, this was the week for me. I've been leading up, but I'm finally.
They probably should have lost by 16, realistically.
Yeah, there's 2 bludger tries bludger try in each half. And
I had Moses with 3 points, Gutherson with 2, and then it was either RCG or Papali'i for me for the 1.